All right, I think I figured that out. This was not easy. Still figuring out how to do live, and I'm going to pull up a chat somehow. I'm going to wait a couple minutes till I actually get started. People that are trying to watch live, I think there's a way to pop out the chat. Pop out. Pop out chat. There we go. So I can, right? So I can see the chat. I'll just pull the chat up on my iPad. I'm going to let people come in for a couple minutes, just talk about some things that's like Christmas plans, books I'm reading, things like that, like boring stuff. As if anyone's going to be watching that while I pull up the chat on my iPad. Since it's kind of like an unscheduled impromptu live hangout. There we go. Okay, I got a chat up on my iPad. This live stuff is so brand new to me from my end. Oh. Now we have to mute the iPad. All right, bear with me. Okay, so thanks everyone that's just jumped in. Mother's Mustache, Cordovae, Thrifty Truckers, Joe Molina, Linda's Rocky Mountain Finds, Jennifer, and Margot, and Thrifty Vet. Thanks for joining in. I'm sure more people will come in as they see that it's going live. There's a couple things that I'm just going to talk about before I get into some Etsy sales. We'll go talk some Etsy. Cryptocurrency, right? Everyone's talking about cryptocurrency. I've had some questions about it on my YouTube channel. I've seen a ton of questions going in towards like the rally routes during their lives. I did invest in the cryptocurrency. If you've seen my Instagram, I talk about it on there sometimes. The point where I really gave in was when I was hearing like, okay, it hit 7,000, hit 6,000, hit 9,000, and at 9,000, I just like pulled out my credit card. I said, screw it. Downloaded whatever Coinbase app and put in the max I could get from my credit card at the time, which was I think $1,250 into the Bitcoin at $9,000 or whatever. So I did. Yeah, a lot of people aren't going to care about the crypto, but I'm just going to cover it. Some people do, some people don't. So I did, yeah, I did that, and then have it since and been investing in that. I think I'm up maybe $1,500 in value, but it could just go poof at any time. So that's that. My investing strategy right now, I literally like just developed this last night. I was talking to somebody. I think I'm going to do 25% into the small market cap alternative coins, 25% like buy it and hold it, 25% buy and hold in the larger market cap bigger coins like the Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and then 50% I'm going to try to swing trade and build up the account. So that's pretty much my crypto. Total value I have in right now is about $10,000 of 8750 that I've actually put in. So still sick, shoulder still not the best. It's better. It's less like painful. Still sniffling and stuff. I wanted to go live today because I'm going to be going live with Chris on his channel later today. So I'll be on with Chris and with Rockstar Flipper. I think that's on 8 p.m. on Chris's channel. And I wanted to make sure I wasn't super nasally and really like sniffly, which I probably will be in this hangout. Haven't heard anything back about the job. The job I applied to, I did send in a formal application. I've since then just been waiting. I'm not going to pursue calling them or bugging them. My dad wants me to. I'm not going to. I'm just gonna like let it chill. The actual hospital or a contract around that hospital is also pending. Kudos to everybody. If I don't talk to you until then, hope everyone's enjoying the holidays, the cold weather that's supposed to be coming up. My Christmas plans are going to be going up, I'm going to grab Andy from Fort Myers and go up and spend Christmas with my dad. Part of the time, I think we're going to go canoeing because the canoeing is really, really pretty this time of year. There's not a lot of rain, so the water's really low and really clear. You can see a lot of animals and wildlife out there. So we're going to do that. It's kind of like a thing that we do. And then I'm going to spend either Christmas Day or the day after with my mom and her mom, it's my grandmother. What else? Still haven't finished my November book, which is Russell Brunson, The Secrets of, I don't know, Secrets of something. It's like a marketing book. It's an easy read, but it's something that I've been dragging out. I want to finish that, and then I'm going to read The Seal, The Way of the Seal, for hopefully before 2018 begins. I've had a crazy month this month on income. I'm going to let a couple more people join if they want to catch the Etsy stuff. I've had a crazy month this month in income. I'm going to be doing a loan payoff video probably closer towards the end of the month. I'm waiting for one more Amazon payout and to see if my Bitcoin just goes poof. So I could put some of that towards it maybe, or keep it into the market. I haven't really decided yet. Some of my stocks are starting to turn around finally. I don't know if it's because of the Republican tax bill or if it's because the oil market's changing, but I have a good amount of money in oil, and it seems to be turning around now, which is good. But I did finally get paid out for my pharmacy work. I got a finally refund checked from the IRS. I got people have owed me paid back. We got a really good month last month on the green room, and Etsy was pretty good. I think I've had like $500 or $700 in Etsy coming in. Amazon and eBay was pretty good as well. But it's the most I've ever had come in a single month, just because the way things are lined up. I know I didn't work for the pharmacy paycheck in December, but I just received it in December, which kind of like boosted my income pretty good. I haven't had this much ever come in my life. It's like a new record. So you'll have to keep an eye out for that video coming up within the next couple weeks. Anyways, all right, we got 25 people viewing, and we will get into some of the Etsy sales. Feel free to answer or ask me questions, because I actually do have a chat open on my iPad next to my computer this time. Before it was even worse than this before, if you watched that video. But thanks everyone for tuning in. That means you have the bell icon activated on my channel, so you'll catch it if I ever do an impromptu live hangout. If you want to come hang out and have a conversation, ask some questions, and I'll try my best to answer them and get some of the information about Etsy out there. I do like the platform, and did get some pretty good amount of sales. I went over a lot of them, some of my like recent sales on the last video, and I'll do 3 more that I just had, and then some other ones that I've had before. Notification squad, yeah. John's right, it's a notification squad. Freeload squad, notification squad. All right. So the first one was a vintage Redhead. Let's get the pictures. It's a Redhead, what is it, like hunting long sleeve, where it's got the padded shoulder for shotguns. It's got ducks on it. Paid a couple bucks for this. Had it sitting for a long time, so it was one that I just kept marking down, and it finally sold for $22. The picture's right here. The editing was awful. I was basically just hanging up on the side of the house and then try to pull out the background with fail. That shows the details of the shirt well, but the picture of the first picture is just like awful when you zoom in. Didn't look too bad on mobile, but that was my most recent sale. Was that shirt? Only $22. Not that great. This is an interesting one. I didn't even get to editing the background of the shirt. I've actually seen this exact style of a shirt in a Global Voodoo video. I forget what episode of his vlog or which video it was in, but I saw this exact same print in New Orleans Jazz. I think his was like 1991 or 1992, but it was like just the same one that they kind of put out every year. I was like, oh, I have that shirt. And first picture wasn't that good. It was a jerseys made in the USA, combed cotton, size small. It was a tiny shirt. Like I put this thing on and it was completely constricting my body. Tiny shirt. Really cool pink graphic on there. I think there were some like sparkles in the text right here. I picked it up for $1, maybe $2, and let me see what that one sold for. I actually have my phone open to see what my items are selling for. Oh, the other one sold for $22. I don't know if I mentioned that, the Redhead. And there goes my sniffles. The Jazz shirt, I don't think it would have been more than, yeah, like $21. Not a ton. The next one, cool colors. It was a button down, I think. Wrangler button down. Very cool pink and black and white stripes. Made in the USA shirt. This was up again for a long, long time. Got down to my $22 price point. And it is sold for $22 plus $22 shipping. Went to Australia. So a total of $44. Nothing special about this one. What is the cost percent on Etsy? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Cost percent on Etsy. What they charge for fees is maybe the cost percent. Yeah, accepting Bitcoin. No one has paid in Bitcoin. All right, we already went over all of those. I think we stopped right here. This vintage Adidas Reversible Jacket. I picked this up at a Humane Society thrift store. Yeah, Suncoast Humane Society thrift store down the street in Port Charlotte. First picture is not that good, but I like the trifoil Adidas stuff. Usually trifoil is vintage. Not always, because they do retro it out, but this was an older one. I could tell by the tag, if I got a picture of the tag. Yeah, right there. This is an older tag. It was reversible, and it had a pretty big trefoil on one of the reverses. So I was about $5 into the jacket. Jackets are usually cheap in Florida because nobody puts value on them because it's not cold here. They're kind of like a nuisance. People don't buy a ton of them, I guess. So got it for cheap, put it up, and it sold for $55. Free shipping. Went to someone in the United States, specifically to Pennsylvania, where it's probably very cold right now. I actually did do some edits on this picture to pull out the background. Not amazing pictures, but they're clean cut. I like the clean cut pictures more so than my non-clean cut pictures. And I just put up some items with some non-clean cut pictures yesterday or the day before. All right, next, the jersey, the Minnesota Wild. This was a good one. Can't remember exactly where I bought this because it must have been years ago, and then I listed it on Etsy also probably a year ago. It's a CCM Minnesota Wild size XL. This is a patch on the front. Everything's like really high quality patchwork, or sorry, not patchwork, but high quality like embroidered patches sewn onto it. Made in Canada, fabriqué au Canada. Good first picture. Not so good that picture, not so good that picture, but good first picture. Like really, really solid first picture. I put this in just in a hanger, and it hung well, and it kind of put out the chest and whatnot. This was a really, really good first picture. It's probably what sold this. And what did it sell for, right? It sold for $89. So I usually pick these up for ideally under $20, ideally under $10. But if it's a really, really, really good or vintage CCM jersey or a Coho jersey, I like the NHL stuff just because it's usually really high quality and really cool graphics and so many different teams I don't even know about. So I like picking up the NHL stuff. I'm going to look through the questions. Picky Pants says Etsy's the wrong place to sell a hunting shirt. Yeah, it's possible. Um, it was something that was already up. I don't do a ton of eBay inventory, like double listing, or once it's up one platform, I kind of just will leave it there for a while and then do a purge if it just starts getting like out of control. But right now my Etsy store is below 150 items. I usually had it at about the 200 to 250 item mark last year. I think I peaked at 250 items, and then it's just been selling out slowly since then. Joe Molina asked, do you think you got more money in these shirts than you would have gotten on eBay? It's probably equal to eBay for those low-end $22 shirts. I don't think that makes much of a difference. Does Etsy have like an international shipping program, or do you just take your chances selling to Australia? I don't know exactly what you mean if they have an international shipping program. For like seller protection, I've never been scammed on Etsy. I've had one request for a return, and I didn't even return the item. It was like we just negotiate. I just told him like, here, I'll give you half your money back, and you can give the shirt to somebody that it'll fit, because they didn't read the measurements. But to ship it to Australia, just print out a shipping label and a customs label built in through the Etsy platform, and then goes to Australia. There's a pretty big world market for Etsy. That exactly answered the question. Jennifer Peltier says eBay is going to start accepting Bitcoin. That would be huge for eBay, actually, if they were the leader and started accepting Bitcoin. That would probably make eBay stock jump, and it would make Bitcoin jump, because that e-commerce platform is already so big and established. There'd be so many more buyers and sellers just like using, oh man, I'm using Bitcoin. That would be cool. That would be very, very cool of eBay if they started accepting Bitcoin. Be good for their company too. Good for exposure and all that jazz. Has anyone paid in Bitcoin yet? No, they have not. No, I have technically have an ability to accept it, but from what I've used and learned from Bitcoin right now is that the transaction fees are pretty bad. I don't see how you can buy something so cheap and have it covered with the transaction fees that the third party are charging. And I don't know how to get that lowered. I think eBay would have to be its own it would have to be its own payment processor for Bitcoin, or use PayPal for Bitcoin somehow and lower the fees. I don't know how it's going to work, but it would be a good move if they can figure it out. The market's still establishing itself with Bitcoin, and there's still a lot of problems that need to be solved. And hopefully it will happen in the future. So that was the Minnesota Wild jersey. Another one of my favorite items are crew necks with crazy graphics on them. Here is a UNM New Mexico Lobos. I picked this up in Albuquerque when I was doing a job in Santa Fe in 2016, I think, is when I bought it. It's a long sleeve crew neck by Jerseys, made in the USA. Nothing on the back, just a graphic on the front, but it was a really clean graphic. There's like no cracking on it. Or actually, is there? Oh, there's slight cracking on it right here. It was clean. It wasn't, I know this one was not like stained or anything. Like this was a really bright and clean one. And I usually put these up for at least 30, if not more. I've gotten anywhere from 30 on the low end to 70, I want to say 78, maybe even more for rarer ones. Like there was this University of Kentucky, KU, the Wildcats, whichever it is, University of Kentucky or Kentucky University. It was a Wildcats, and it was a rare one because it was like pre-logo change, and then there was a logo where the tongue of the cat was looked like a part of the male anatomy, and that one was like discontinued and like it was taboo to have it or something, and it ended up selling for like 70 something dollars. I had it up for a while, but it did end up selling. I sold a really crazy like Jacksonville Jack. I'll get to these ones eventually because they are in my history. And the cool thing about Etsy is like your history is there with your pictures. So things that I've sold from years and years ago, I can go back and still make videos about those items showing them, which is really cool. You can't do that with eBay. But anyways, yeah, I've sold them anywhere between like 30 upwards of like high 70s dollars, I think. So this one sold for 31. UNM for me doesn't sell that well. I have not been able to get more than like a $30 to $35 long tail selling point for this school. The background that I took was actually a real brick background with a command hook right there. You could see it. I could just stuck it to the wall, a command hook. And this was an apartment that I was staying with Rachel at in Yukon, Oklahoma at the time, that part of my life, when I was in Oklahoma for a short while. I think I was there for maybe like 2 or 3 months, and then I was in Santa Fe working. But it's really good natural lighting outside, no shadows. The reds are really hard to take pictures of, but for some reason, this one came out really well. Big Dan123 says, love your videos. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's just short and sweet. It's a nice feeling when people say that they appreciate or they love my videos. It's cool. South Sound Rocks and Resale says, yeah, like seller protection. I mean, there's tracking. It's Australia. It's like just as advanced as America or Canada when it comes to post, to where I think tracking will say it was delivered and stuff. I've never had anything lost going to Australia, and Australians are very, very trusting people. So I don't think they're out to scam anybody. So I have not had any issues with that. And I say maybe 5 to 10% of my sales go to Australia. What's up, Wes? Right here, this was the oldest style of picture I have ever done on Etsy. These are like super old items when I see this style of picture, because I had no idea what I was doing. I was renting a house with my friend in Bradenton with my friend Kelsey. So this is his artwork, some skateboards we got at like the Goodwill bins that were like wooden I used as decoration. And then we used natural light coming in, and you could see that the house was like old wood paneling. And actually filmed some videos in here. It was fun. It was fun hanging out with him. I showed him as much as I knew about resale at the time, and now he knows how to do it whenever he's in between jobs or at jobs and just wants his supplementary income. He does it. This was the worst. It sold for $11. Why did I do what did I do wrong here? It's so bad. And I think it was listed for like years. So for $11. Get it out of my life. It's a Panhandle Slim. Nothing really amazing about the colors, nothing amazing about the buttons. We're gonna get that out of here. Pictures were not that great. Super cool picture on this. This was a Goodwill Bins find. Goodwill Bins. It's a Sorel. I've been experimenting with shoe pictures. Really clean first picture, not so clean second picture. And then it just keeps getting like worse and worse the farther you go. But that first picture is what's going to be grabbing the attention, right? So they were made in Canada. It was a like snowshoe or whatever you call these, like a winter shoe, winter boot. So these were meant to be like worn like shoveling snow or something, but they had like really cool retro colors. It said real pipe and Noel something on the back. And I like the colors. Picked them up at a bins for like $2. Sold for $59. And these went to Brooklyn, New York. What is up next? How many items have we done? 12, right? We got to do 12. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to finish on the Marlins. And that will be the end of the video. Awful first picture here with my nice peach background. But it's like a huge jacket. I got this when it was maybe like $5 jacket sale, or it was an insane amount of sale at a Salvation Army for leather jackets, and I just like bought every single one that I could justify buying with a certain style, certain quality, a certain size. And then I had put this one up on Etsy because it was indicative of vintage based on the style and tags. So I chucked it up. It was a 5X big jacket, huge jacket. And it sat for a long time. I wish it could tell me like right here how long it sat for. These items, people, are like pretty long tail for me. I'll throw them up and then it'll sit there till it sells. But I had a really good description on this. Good pictures other than like busy background, right? Get well. And believe it or not, it sold for $85. This was a pretty good one. Went to Tennessee. It's a Tennessee dude, 5X big, rocking this leather jacket. He loves it. The next item I think is really cool. So Swatch makes watches, right? And I found this after my friend Kelsey found one similar. He was like, dude, Swatch makes shirts too, like old shirts from the 80s. And he found one at a Goodwill or at a Bins or something. And I was like, oh, the graphics were so cool on it. And I had eventually found one maybe a couple years later, a couple weeks, or sorry, not a couple weeks. It'd be like a couple months or maybe a couple years later. I don't know. But it was made in Hong Kong, says the Swatch, it's got the Swiss flag on it. And the way that they size these things, let me see if I can get where it says the size. I don't have it, but it was called big. It said the size on it, it just was big. It's not small, medium, or large. It just said big. And it wasn't big. It was like a small. So the sizing was so weird from this company. That's why measurements are pretty important for vintage stuff. I was experimenting with photographing the measurements across the chest, across the sleeve. Got some errors in my editing, but still got sold. Like, I wasn't a perfectionist about the pictures. I just wanted to get it up and it's sold. Really short crop top, I remember right. It was like a really wide but short shirt. Very cool graphics on it. Very 80s. And sold. Oh yeah, what did it sell for? Right, that's what's important. It sold for $35. Not bad. Yeah, Notorious B.I.G. jacket. Updates on the Nickelodeon hat. The Nickelodeon hat is actually getting a ton of traffic to my store. I don't know if it's from everyone from YouTube or from Instagram that's interested in that hat. That's just like wants to see it sell because it's the highest price in my store right now is that hat. If I can find it, I'll show you guys. Took really good pictures of that hat. Let me open up my store. Etsy's weird. Try to open my store. Oh, shop manager is just going to show everyone. I don't care about those statistics. I just don't want to be showing people a bunch of addresses. So I can go to my store. All right, here's the awful pictures of some of the vintage Patagonia stuff that I just listed. I just wanted to get it up, so I chucked it chucked it behind some pallets. I think this is like some of the worst photography I've done in the history of Etsy. Where is my hat? Why is that under snapback? My categories are all messed up. All right, here's my hat. So the pictures I took of this were actually at Chris's house. He has a nice little ivy stone part, and it looked good. It looked very Etsy, and as you can see, they're fantastic pictures. A little busy in the back, but still looks good. I maxed out all the pictures. I have it up for 495 bucks. Has favorited by only four people. It's gotten a lot of views, whatever the view statistic is. It always is like on the top of my view statistic on Etsy. It's gonna sit. It's gonna sit for a long time. I might eventually get an offer on it, but it's what do you call it? An investment, an asset. It's like art. People buy art for a place to put their money long term. And I bought a Nickelodeon hat because I feel like it's got value. So other than just driving people to my store and getting traffic that way, oops. All right, last item. And then we'll have spent about 45 minutes together. We got a Marlins MLB jersey in the USA. Pretty good flat lay first picture. I'd say, did this have, it did. It had Chacon on the back. I can't remember where I bought this from. I really can't. But pictures were good. Nice flat lay, nice clean first picture. It sold for $45. You always want to check for all your buttons on these. The embroidered ones do better than the print-on ones, and names can either make it or really be a miss, because if it's a player that doesn't play for them anymore, it might be a little bit harder of a sell. If it's a player that like left sour feelings for the other fans of that team, then sometimes it can be sour and not wanting to sell. I was holding on to a LeBron jersey from Nike. It was a Cavaliers one that I bought because it was so cheap, and then he changed to it was while he was playing for Miami, and that thing like never would sell. And as soon as he went back to the Cavs, like immediately was able to sell it for I think like 40 or 50 bucks, just because it was one of the original ones before he left to Miami, which before the team would have bought it and probably burnt it, but I waited it out and just put it in the closet. I didn't cross-list the hat to eBay. No, it's just on Etsy. It's the only place they can get it from is on Etsy. I bet if you Google, yeah, I'm like Googling how to stream on Google Hangouts because I don't know how to do it. What are we going to look up? Nickelodeon hat. Let's see if I even Nickelodeon hat. Look at that. If that's mine, I am ranked 3. No, that's not mine. Dang, I don't even rank on there. Just type in Nickelodeon hat. Dang. I bet if you type in vintage Nickelodeon hat. I'll rank. Yep, I'm on the images there. So that might grab somebody's attention. And then it goes to Etsy. Okay, I don't know why that went to Nickelodeon. If I typed in vintage Nickelodeon hat, market vintage Nickelodeon. So I'm not ranking that well. Oh well. 90s Nickelodeon memorabilia. Maybe I got to play around with my search terms. I don't know. Or maybe my listing hasn't been there long enough. Don't know. Hey, Chris is in. Type in French is freeloaded. Yeah, maybe that'll come up. We're doing a live hangout, Chris, later today, and I'm just practicing my sniffles and congestion to make sure that. Dang, I do not rank well. I'm like all the way after all this stuff. It's the coolest hat. Oh, I sold one of these Balzac hats for I think 45 or 55 bucks. Anyways, that was Etsy for the day. I'm gonna try to do something on Wednesdays where I go over some sort of sales, maybe sales updates throughout the week that I have had on eBay. I went 7 packages out, went today, and then a lot of packages went out yesterday and the day before. The weekend, I think I sent out about 15 or 16 packages. So maybe I will do a Wednesday update of just like recording all throughout the week my eBay sales and just pop, make a video, chop it up of that. That'll be cool. I just want to try to make more of just like sales related content. What is it called? What we sold Wednesday? What sold Wednesday? I made up that hashtag. Nobody needs to use it. I think that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. Sniffles are on point. I'm gonna try to get it all out now so I don't have to do it tonight. Congestion and sniffles are on point. I'm going to go play the. No, I'm gonna go read after I beat the Water Temple on my Nintendo 2DS. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, thanks everyone for hanging out. We'll talk to you guys in the next video if I can figure out how to end this hangout. It's embarrassing. How do you? Okay, here we go. Bye, guys.